Hello, and welcome to a very interesting live stream. Right now, we're rocking this in Lens Studio, and we're in real time. We made this Bored Ape earlier today. This is the low-res version, and the full body is being tracked. I'm actually walking around in my studio as we speak. We're streaming to YouTube, so this offers like a full-body motion capture solution without the need of a motion suit, and we're using the camera built into Lens Studio to do all this. And so what we're going to be doing today is working on, oh, what's that? Wearable, Bored Ape, and, oh, that's funny. My own little notification that I'm going live just popped up. So right now we're streaming live on YouTube, and we're going to be working on the painting process. We're going to do some UV mapping, because this model I don't have any UV maps. I want to be able to paint this and, kind of show what's possible. I mean, I'm really happy with the arm movements and stuff. It's just, it's remarkable. So I'm going to sit on the chair and get right into it. Wow, the future is pretty weird. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna work on painting this asset, and I think that will be fun. So what we did today is we made this whole character inside of ZBrush, and that's the low-res version. Let me show you the high-res model. Yeah, is that the one? There it is. Nope. How do I append this? This is the low-res model. And so what we're going to do now is do some UV unwrapping, and then I'll show you how we can project the high-resolution model as a texture to the low-resolution one. Right now in Lens Studio, we're driving this animation with the low-res one because it performs better in real-time solutions like this. That's me right there waving in real time. Such a strange, fun future that this is even possible. Okay, so what I did here is to kind of just highlight how this works. In green we have the low resolution model, and in red I have the high resolution model. And what I mean by that is it's in terms of polygon count. So if I were to turn on the polygon numbers here, I go to display polygons, you can see that this one's extremely dense. We got millions of polygons in there. All these triangles, very heavy stuff. All these triangles, very heavy. And so this is great for, creating like nice little textures and things, but it's not all that great for real time. So we made this retopologized model where it's a low resolution version of it. And for those of you that are just tuning in right now, you got to see this. We're literally live streaming as that character right now. It's me. See that? I'm waving my hand. And we could, you could be doing VTubing. You could be a digital character. I got my chair right here. I can move it. It's a full body suit. And you don't even see my body because I'm using AI to remove my body. We're not even using the green screen for what it's useful for. And it's crazy, like having shadows, like I'm actually close to the real wall. So it's not removing my shadow from the wall or the ground, which really adds to the immersion of the whole thing. But God, it's so weird. I love it. So anyway, I'm going to work on painting this model, making it really, really hyper realistic. Because there's no normal maps on there yet. We don't even have any of our shaders. I just brought in the geometry, and I was so excited I had to make a video about it. And then now we'll work on the rest of it. Okay, so we're going to do the UV unwrapping to start. UV unwrapping is needed. And so I'm going to hide the high-res model for a moment. And we're going to go to our UV edit mode. All right, so we could do a couple options. I'm going to grab my model here and do a UV from projection. So that kind of just projects our model in a flat view. And then with the line edit mode, I'm going to go through and define some areas that I want to mark off as safe areas to cut the model in. So I got the halfway point there. I'm going to switch to a front and side orthographic view here. Then what I'm going to do is take the selection brush and hold Control to deselect. Excuse me. So I'm deselecting half the body here. And what I want to do is I want to keep the line of symmetry on the back of the character because I anticipate that people, when they're trying on this filter, are going to mostly be looking at it from the front. So the seam is going to be hidden in the back. With that in mind, we're going to continue to find another good spot to put a seam. It's good to find your loops. When you do retopology, you want to try to create clean loops on your models so that the things can be cut and deform without stretching your polygons too much. That looks like a pretty interesting seam. We might do something with that. Yeah, I think we'll do something with that. I'm going to get a kind of a top piece, and then we'll have to hide that seam with some fur, or we could just erase it from the front so that we're not really doing that. So I'm going to grab my live selection tool and erase a little bit of the front. So that we're just kind of keeping the seams on the back nice and clean. Okay, going back in, zooming in there, looking for some more places to put the seams. That's a good seam right there. So if we just grab our loop selection tool here, I'm going to look for some more edge loops. I'm going to try to just cut the arm right here. Not cut it, but just put a seam for the textures. And you can kind of see the seams being formed on the left side there. Fun and tedious process, but it's totally worth it because the result is you get a character that you can paint with any texture in the world, and it will transfer really nicely to characters. Right, so I'm going to put some cuts right there, and then we're going to grab our edge detection and look for another edge loop on the back of the leg here. Just put a cut into the model onto the side and the back of the leg there. Great, I'll put another seam on the back of the leg here. Again, I don't anticipate people looking at the back crotch too much, so that's why I feel like it's safe to put seams on the back there. And we'll go ahead and do the same for the back of the leg. So I'll grab there's actually a tool, getting the name of it, but it could be we could really benefit from it right now. Actually, it might be in the modeling context. Let me switch to modeling and see if I find it. Is it create point or weld? No, it's not that. Maybe it's a UV tool. What is it? UV peeler? No, rotate. Not it. UV straighten. UVs. I don't think that's it either. I'm blanking out on what the name of this tool is, but it lets you, it's kind of like a magnetic snapping brush, and it's useful for dragging a straight line without having to do a loop. I usually prefer to do that for like the back of a leg, or even on the back inside of the leg, or even on the back of the arm or something. I think might be a good spot to put that. It's like, let me just find it real quick. Tool that lets you drag a line on Cinema 4D. The line cut tool? No, it's not line cut. What's it called? How to select a line by dragging on it inside of Cinema 4D. Okay, it is a selection tool. I think it's line tracer. Let's see if this is it.
In this Cinema 4D quick tip, I'm going to show you the power of double-clicking with the moves to special power. Really great sets. Double-click a easily loop select.
I just can't remember the name of it. Let me see if I can update the customize It's a tool I use all the time. I'm not familiar with the new layout, so let me see if I can find it. It's a tool that I use all the time normally. Customize palette, okay, and now we just gotta find it. I don't know what it's called. There's so many buttons in Cinema 4D. Like 25 years of developing a tool, it's going to be pretty heavy. Um, Maybe it's called line or something. Line, rail, line, spline. No. What about select? Does anyone remember the name of that tool? I use it all the time normally. I just haven't added it to the new version of Cinema 4D in a while. Model, the UV. It's like such a useful tool. I don't know why it's not just always in the canvas. Store UVs, reset UVs. No, that's not it. Maybe it's called line something. Not spline. Convert from spline, empty spline. Gosh, I can't remember what this tool is. I might need to open up my old version of Cinema 4D real quick because it's a tool that I use so often. Hello, welcome. I'm trying to find an old mapping right now of the characters so that we can get some really customized stuff coming for us. So the tool that I use all the time that I'm just totally blanking out on the name, it appears when I would go into my UV editor, and it's up the top here. It's called, it's not, I can't even select it right now because it's hidden. Okay, should be able to grab it now. It's called Path Selection. Got it, okay. That's what I was looking for, Path Selection. It's probably my favorite tool in Cinema 4D, and I always want to use it, so much so that I'm going to drag it to the very top and then save my layout. So I'm going to go to Window, set this back to standard, and then, dang it, it moved it. Let me go back. Where do I do? I go to Window, and then go to Customization, Customize Palettes. It's called Path Selection. Great. I'm going to drag it up to the top and hit execute. Is that what you do? No, I'm just going to leave it alone. Okay. And now I'm going to go to Window and then Save Layout. Somehow, somewhere. Where do I do that? Attribute, Node Editor, Asset Browser, Customization, Save as Default Scene. Save as Startup Layout. Yes. Okay, cool. All right, so yeah, this tool lets you just drag a straight line, and it's so useful when you're doing your UVs and stuff. Like, only use it. See how you can just drag a line down the back of the leg here. Super powerful tool, and I really can't do without it, to be honest. At this point, I got spoiled with that tool and need it all the time. Cool, I'm just putting a little loop selection around the ankle here so you get some nice clean cuts. We'll go back to the path selection tool and continue to draw a path down the back of the leg, connecting it to that loop selection. Awesome, we'll do the same thing for the wrists. Create a little loop around the wrist. To see there. I'll do it to the other hand as well. And we'll grab the seam tool and draw our edge seams kind of down the inside part of the arm here. So I'll go one in the middle there. It's kind of hard to see. Folks, I'm using green. Let me darken the green so you can see what I'm doing. There you go. So these orange lines that I'm placing are seams. And seams are important when you're texturing a 3D model, when you want it to look really, really good. You want to put some good seams on it so that it can unwrap smoothly. Now I'm just going down the side of the hand here to create a little bit of edge flow. down the sides of the thumb. Great. That will unwrap really nicely. I'll do the same thing to this side as well. Down the back of the pinky and down the side of the thumb. I definitely didn't know. Oh, we got a question from Kensley says you should add badges to this so people can donate. I definitely will next time. Much love, bro. Oh, wow. You're right. I should add badges. Thanks for suggesting that. I'll turn on badges in the next stream. Thank you for reminding me. I kind of just forgot about them. But you're right. If, that could be a helpful way to support me in these streams of free content. Yeah, thank you for reminding me, helping me save some money. All right, so I'm going to put a seam down the side of the neck here. The reason why I want to do this is so that we can kind of paint the head almost like separately from the rest of the model. So by putting little seams there underneath the chin, when we unwrap the model, it's going to be easier to paint and less warpy if we have seams there. I might do one a little bit on the forehead, and then maybe even on the back of the ears. It's kind of a weird seam. Never mind. I'll leave that alone. Okay, so with these seams that we placed here, I just want you to take a little mental snapshot of where I placed these. Notice how I placed all these seams in spots that I don't really anticipate people looking as much, you know, like in the back. And we can't avoid seams. You know, everything's going to need to have a seam if we want it to be painted. But we can, we can be strategic with where we place them, which is what we did. So now we're going to go back to the UV editor. And with the UV editor, we can now click on UV Unwrap. And look at that, it unwrapped our model based on where we placed all those seams. So if that's kind of hard to visualize, I'll select each island and show you how it corresponds to a part of the model. So I'm going to grab my polygon editor and look at that. So that's the whole leg right there. And then that's the whole this leg. And then this is the whole body. And then that's what the arm, it's another arm. This is a hand, that's a hand. What are these? Oh, those are the feet. So these ones, I see some problems. I see some weird poles. These poles that look like a spider web are too focused. So that means we need to add more edge loops. So I'm going to switch it back to my, I might want to add my edge loop tool in here. I use edge loops all the time. So let's go back to the palette. I'll customize the palette here. Customize. Where's customize palette? Oh, there's customize palette, and then it's a tool called path selection. It's my favorite selecting tool inside of Cinema 4D. I don't know why it's not just always on default. And so now I'm going to go to the back and bottom of the feet and put some edge cuts onto the back of them. By placing a cut on the bottom like this, we're going to allow the foot texture to unwrap properly and not create distortions when we're painting. We will be doing our painting in another program called Adobe Substance 3D Painter. It is the best for painting your 3D models for everything. For those of you just joining, you're not going to believe this. I'm literally running this character in real time right now. This was just the geometry without the this was the geometry without the paint and stuff. So I just wanted to make sure that the geometry could work. And so the geometry is working. And so now we're going through to the process that I would go to paint this thing properly and bring it to life and make it all special. Maybe I should push this in the corner so you can always see it for fun. That corner here. So I'm a Bored Ape right now. And I'm a Bored Ape working on the Bored Ape real-time version. How freaking fun is that? Slide this over to the side here. It's very meta right now. Okay. So yeah, so you see that we have our we have our model kind of unwrapped. Now if we click the UV unwrap again, it's going to continue to unwrap the model based on the cuts. The next area that needs some more love and attention is the face. Looks like it's scrunched up the face quite a bit. So I'm going to go and find some good spots to put more cuts into the face topology. So I might go ahead and just split the lip here and maybe even go down further onto the forehead. I usually try to avoid that, but there's a lot of geometry in there, and I think we need to do that. So I'm also going to try to put a seam down the maybe the back of the ear here. And then let's actually just separate the UV tile for the ear entirely. And for a good edge loop. I don't see any good edge loops, so we'll have to make an ugly selection here. Go back to my path. Oh, do I have to keep, how do I make it so that I don't have to keep customizing the palette? I want to keep that path selection tool there forever. Is that an option? Can I just, I always want it there. I don't want to have to keep adding it. Restrict to, no, assign. I don't know why I kept selecting it. All right. So let's go to the back of the ear of the ape here. How cool is that, right? Just even the fact that I could be running this in real time while we're working on the painted version of it. I'm having a lot of fun. Okay. And so, oops, S to show all. All right, so I'm gonna go and just kind of butcher the back of the ear here, and then just kind of select the back of the ear of the character, and I'm gonna try to make a little loop that cuts the ear out entirely. We'll do the same thing to the other ear. I'm just gonna go up the side of the head here, and then drag a loop around the whole ear. Flippity flop. Oops. There we go. And then just kind of connect that all the way back. Try to make it as elegant as possible. Little rough around the edges. And then cool. And then I'll do that similar thing to the back of the head here, so that we get some cleaner topology. Maybe we'll do a little split by the top of the head bridge here. Okay, so with those new UV cuts added, we're going to go ahead and split the UVs again. So I'm going to click on UV unwrap. It's a little bit better, but I still see the faces kind of connecting oddly. So I might have to just split the model in half. I always try to avoid doing that, but I don't see another way at this time. So we're just going to split it in half. Cool. And face is really weird, but it is working, kind of at a cost. We're losing a lot of resolution. Okay. All right, I'm going to do the worst thing. We're going to put a seam down the very middle of the face. I was trying to avoid doing that, but solution. All right, so now the model is pretty much entirely unwrapped. We have all the seams placed on the back of the character, and we can focus on more optimizing stuff. So I'm going to save our work of the UV unwrapping process. I'm going to call this one UV ready _1. So that's how I would manually go about doing the UV unwrapping for this. So now that we've shown the manual way of doing UVs, I want to show you the auto way. So maybe you don't want to do all the seams and stuff. You don't know where to place things. So if that's the case, there's a different solution for you. You can use the auto unwrap tool. So I'm going to copy this model, pretending that we didn't just do these UVs. So I'm just going to do Control-C, Control-V. On this copy, I'm going to delete the UVs that we made. Poof, no UVs. And I'm also going to detach all the selections. So you can also click on Set UV from Projection, and then click on Automatic UV and choose the packed algorithm and hit Apply. This will automatically do its best to place seams. And looking at what it did automatically, it's not that bad. Actually, to be honest, I mean, it put a lot more. It put a lot more loops and stuff on the legs. Like it put them in the front, which is kind of weird. But oh, and it really messed up the fingers. It put a lot of edge loops on there in the white. I don't really know what it was thinking with the loops there, but you know, if you don't know how to do UV unwrapping and you just want to model quick, that's a fast way of doing it. I'm probably going to keep the UVs that I have though, so I'm going to delete that model. I just want to show you the fast alternative if you know you're not down to spend the time to unwrap that all. Other tricks that we have is to click on overlap identical geometry and mirror geometry. If I hit apply on there, we can mirror a lot of this stuff. And oh, weird, it put some, I don't know what it did with the edge loops. That was strange. Whoa, really weird. Okay, don't do that. I'm gonna undo that. Let me try it one more time. Overlap identical geometry, apply. Weird, so it just adds a lot more seams, which I don't want to do, so I'm gonna undo that. We can also do UV packing and just do the existing geometry and just pack it together a bit better. Just running different algorithms to sort the UV islands. Okay, cool. So that looks pretty clean. We have a pretty clean UV setup there. I'm going to now save this project. And now we're going to export both the high-res and the low-res model. The high-res model is sitting right here in the startup user. So I put our high-res model in red. This one has all of the extremely close details that we sculpted in ZBrush, including all the little bumps and crevices. And so what we're going to do now is bake the high resolution model data as a texture into the low resolution model. So I'm going to first delete the high res model for a moment. And then just working on this one, we have our Bored Ape. I'm going to go to File, Export, and then I'm going to export the object as a .obj file. And we're going to call this one UV ready. I just like to put the word paint. Paint underscore me, because this is the one that we are going to paint. And we'll save that. Then we're going to hit undo and bring back that high resolution model, delete our low res model, and we're going to save this one as project me. So I'm going to click on export as an object, keeping all the same settings, and we're going to call this one I'll just call this one bake. We want to bake this one. So I'm going to bake this geometry and we'll hit save it. All right, so we're pretty much done with the Cinema 4D part of this tutorial now. And we're going to jump into a new program called Adobe Substance 3D Painter. I'm going to close down this, or actually I'll just minimize it and see if we can run it in the background. We're going to go ahead and open up Adobe Substance 3D Painter now. And hello, welcome folks that are joining the live or you're watching this post on YouTube. We are working on real-time VTubing characters. In this case, we're making a Bored Ape from scratch that can run in real time using Lens Studio. Pretty cool technology going on here. All right, we're going to make a brand new thing. I'm going to set this to 2048 resolution. I'll leave that, and we're going to go find our asset for the Bored Apes. Let's look for our UV Ready Paint Me object. Set this to OpenGL and hit OK. Awesome, there is our ape ready to be painted. Awesome. And then we're going to go to Edit, Bake Mesh Maps, and we're going to bake a 2K resolution version of the super high resolution model. So I'm grabbing that Bake Me, and then we'll make sure we choose that, and I'll hit Bake Default. So this is going to bake all of the textures on here. And what we get out of doing this baking technique is best of both worlds. You get the lightweight performance of that smaller model, but then we get all of the surface textures and details of the other model. Now, if you're seeing what I'm seeing right here, which is there's a lot of like noise and stuff happening, usually the ambient occlusion layer is the one that kind of screws up a bit. So I might go and rebake it. So I might go to Edit, Bake Mesh Maps, maybe set the resolution to 4K, and then I'm going to click on Bake Default. It'll take a little bit longer, but we're going to get less noise distortions, I think. Usually that's a fix for that. You just get more, yeah, so now it's a lot cleaner at 4K resolution for the bake. Cool. Now we need to bring up our reference. We have a few reference images here of some Bored Apes that I really liked. I like these like cyber ones. This one speaks to me. I'm really digging the cyber vibes there. It's like a cyber captain. This one looks pretty cool. It's got like a, yeah. It looks like those have the same neck situation going on. That's kind of cool. Love these apes. Absolutely love them. Okay, so I'm going to put this reference up here in the corner and enlarge the substance. Okay, so let's go ahead and stretch a little bit. Okay, cool. So we can start painting. First thing I'm going to paint is some skin. There's this texture called bone that comes with this program. It's a great stylized material. I always like to use it as a base because it gives you a lot of good ambient occlusion in skin textures. I like it. And it's highly customizable. So you can go into there, go into the base, and dial in that color. So I'm going to pull the actual Bored Ape skin, and then we can play with the dirt amount. The dirt has a mask editor that allows us to increase or decrease. Let me set this to just 3D only. So with that texture, we can actually change like the global balance of lighting on there. So I'm just going to kind of do that, and then maybe go to texture 2, play with our ambient occlusion, play with our curvature percentage. Yeah, so this just gives us a really nice base to work off of. For the ears, I want it to be a little bit more pink, more fleshy on the ears and on the lips. So I'm going to duplicate this material, and in the base, swap it to a more pink tone. Not that pink, maybe pink red. Around there. And then for the dirt on this one, we're going to set that to also kind of a pinkish reddish color. And maybe that's a little bit more magenta. Maybe make it a little bit more shadow. And then with this one, we're going to add a black mask. And so now with our stylus, we could essentially paint in the fleshy areas. I'm going to turn on symmetry so we can not have to do that twice. And I can just go ahead and paint in the fleshy areas. I'm thinking like the nose might be a little bit more fleshy, or the lips. And so we can just go in with our shader and really just paint away. Lower the brush size there. Just gently paint the lips a little bit more fleshy, and then also on the inside of the mouth, getting on the sides. It's getting a little bit closer. And just on the inside of the tongue there. Let's do the same for the inside of the nose, shall we? Out of pan. I'm going to go ahead and paint the inside of the nose, rotate the light so I can see into the nostrils a bit. You can also turn off lighting while we're doing this step, so I can go into here and just see base color. And then sometimes that's helpful if you don't want your lighting to impact the way you're thinking about shading. Or sorry, if you don't want lighting to impact the way you're thinking about your material's color, I like to just turn that off while I'm working on that channel. this saves you confusion, and you get to know more you get to know more accurately what your stuff is looking like. I mean, all these Bored Apes are definitely more like solid colored. So I might make it a little bit less pink here. I'll dive into that base material, add a little bit more yellow, maybe, just kind of mute it a bit, and then we can go to our dirt color and then play with that as well. Make it a little bit on the warmer side, and then maybe a little bit warmer, a little bit darker. Let's turn back on our base material so we can get all those shadows onto the ape. Cool. Yeah, because right now the model that we have right here that I'm driving with Lens Studio is oh bruh, Sherwin Smith. Hello, welcome to YouTube streaming. We are in the middle of working on this Bored Ape, just having some fun. Oh, I forgot the eyeballs. I forgot to bring in eyeballs. Not a problem. I will bring in eyeballs now. Let's fix that. I need to go into Cinema 4D. Totally forgot about the eyeballs. And let's undo, and then let's turn off the iRes model. Or I'll do that last so that we don't have to rebake it. So yeah, let me give my character some eyeballs. Let me display the lines, and then the eyes will just be spheres. Let's keep it simple. They are just spheres. So I'm gonna grab a sphere here. I'm gonna rotate that sphere so that we are angling it. I don't know what the best way is to angle the sphere. Let's just do 90 degrees. And then we'll set this as the eyeball. Push this eyeball up into the skull of my Bored Ape 3D model that we did earlier today. I'm gonna get that eyeball placed nicely. We'll scale it down, bring it forward, make sure that it's recessed nicely. And the eyelid looks pretty good there. Yeah. Yeah, that feels good. And then we'll just copy it, or actually, you know what? We'll just keep it even simpler. We'll use a symmetry object to get two of them. Where is symmetry? Symmetry, where are you at? There it is, symmetry. Boom, two eyeballs. Great. We have two eyeballs. I might make them a little bit smoother. So right now I have 16 segments. I might bump this up to 32, keeping it in multiples of 8. And then we can maybe, whoa, don't change the radius. I'll leave that. Cool. And then we'll go ahead and bake that. Current state to, wait, it says current state to objects to leave. Great. I'll call this, oh no, we should keep the eyes separate. Yeah, we should keep the eyes separate so that I can animate them independently. Otherwise, actually, you know what? We might do the eyes. I don't know what I'm going to do with the eyes yet. I'm going to put them in two different layers. Well, sorry, I'm flip-flopping on this a lot right now. Let me think real quick. What do we want to do with the eyes? You can use blend shapes to animate the face too. That's the plan, Kevin. I am going to be doing blend shapes with this. Oh, Digital Dom says, now this is so cool. Hey, that's cool, says Bester Bahai. Thanks so much. Yeah, I'm showing you the secrets. This is how you make a virtual VTuber. The model that you see me driving right now, this is running inside a Lens Studio here. And this is just the geometry. This has no textures, no UVs, no rig. Well, I did rig this one, but it doesn't have the other stuff that we're building out right now. So you're seeing this character be built out in real time. Feels like you're modeling yourself. It is. It does feel like that. It feels like you're modeling yourself, Krunal. That's exactly the feeling it is. So what was I saying? Oh yeah, I'll probably do the eyeballs entirely inside a Lens Studio, but just for fun and just, I want to have some eyeballs so that we can work on while we're in here. So I got these eyeballs modeled. I'll keep them as one layer for now, even though I will be moving them independently of each other so that they can like focus in on things as the person wearing this on Snapchat can ideally, drive the animation with their face. So I'm just going to grab both of these eyeballs real quick and take a look at the UV editor. Go to our UV edit mode. So I'm going to grab these spheres, set UVs from projection, create an automatic mirror overlap, and then set a packed algorithm. Cool, so those are the unwrapped eyeballs. I don't know why it decided to place their pupils in a separate location like this. That's kind of weird. Do that. Let's see if this is going to work. So what is that? That's the, oh, so that's the whole left eye, and then this is the right eye. I don't know why, I don't know how I'm feeling about having just that little resolution. Let me go back to standard and solo out. Ah, where's the solo button? Viewport solo. So I don't think I'm going to show people the very back of the eyeball. There's not a situation where the rig is going to do that. So I'm just going to actually open up the back of the eyes. The reason why I'm doing this is for performance. I want this to be snappy when you're looking around. I want to not render stuff that is not being seen. We don't, when you're making stuff for AR in real time, we don't get that luxury. That being said, that's a pretty light amount of data. So the other real reason why I did this is I want to manually unwrap this. And by placing a cut of geometry like that on the back of the eyes, it will help with the manual unwrapping. So I'm going to grab both the eyes again, switch back to the UV editor. And then, yeah, so we have a lot more space. I'm going to go back to I'm going to delete the UVs, set a UV from projection, go to our cubic algorithm and do that. That will work for me, or maybe angular. That might work, or maybe let's go back to packed. Interesting, so that kind of, very interesting. Okay, I'm not going to do any of these. I'm going to do my own. There we go. So this is now is this the front of the eye? Yeah, so this is the front eye resolution. I'm just taking a look. So that's the front of the eyeball. And then this is what the back, oh, that's the, I guess that's the back. Wait, I'm so confused. What is this? What is this thing? Okay, so that's the whole eye, and that's the whole eye. I don't know why it unwrapped this way. So let's set a UV from projection. I'm gonna go back to our UV selector. Oh, because I had a cut right there. That would do it. I'm gonna go back to solo mode, use my selector, and deselect things. We'll select the back ring of both eyeballs, and I'm also going to use my path selection tool to make a cut on the bottom of the eyeball. I don't think people are going to look at the bottom of the eyeball. They'll be looking at the face. So I'm just going to make these two little incisions. It's like we're doing like little eye surgery here. And now I'm going to UV unwrap this. There we go. So those are really clean for me to paint on. And if we want it to have even less deformations, you put another seam on the top like this, and another one on the top like that. Then click on unwrap. And now we have really easy to paint on eyeballs that will have a lot of resolution, and that is super great. And we can pack these together by overlapping them. So now both eyes are going to share the same texture, which is important when you want the maximum amount of resolution. And I want the eyes to have a lot of quality. And now we have one texture UV space that represents both the surfaces of the eyeball. And I decided to delete the back of the eyeball because I don't want to think about it. Great, let's unsolo, bring our whole Bored Ape back online. And we have our new eyeballs in here. Last thing we want to do is go into our material shaders and apply a generic material that we name to the eyeball. So I'm going to grab a new material, make it white orange, and drag that onto the spheres. And I'm going to call that material eyes. And then the green one is body. I will keep these as separate pieces of geometry for now. And then if that's a bad idea, we can always swap it back. And this one's our high-res body. Okay. Whew. Almost done with this step. Let's save our work because we're good people. Imaginary Lobos here. Can't forget to save your work. And let's turn off our display grids. Great. Great, great, great. Okay, and now what we'll do is delete our high-res model and bridge this together. And then we're going to export just this new model that has eyeballs. So I'm going to go to File, Export, Object, hit OK. We're going to call this with_eyes and hit Save. Then I hit Undo to bring back our high-res model. We minimize that. We go back into Adobe Substance 3D Painter. And we're just going to swap out our new model with eyeballs so that we get the best of both worlds. So I'm just going to swap it out. It's very friendly to do in Substance. It's as friendly as finding the file and dragging it on top of it. So this one was called with eyes. I'm just going to drag it right onto the model here and release. It's going to ask if you want to overwrite stuff, and I do, and I want to preserve my strokes on the positional meshes and hit OK. And this one's now going to bring in our new geometry, and it should repaint it. Oh, did we lose all the paint? Let me undo that. That's awkward. All right, we lost all the paint, I think. Yeah, because it looks like it killed default. Oh, because we changed the name of the texture. We changed it to body instead of calling it default. That's why we lost it all. Bummer. Let me undo a couple of times if I can. Undo, add stroke. Undo, add stroke. Okay, there might still be hope. What if we go back to Cinema 4D and I rename the body, if I rename it to the name I gave it before, which was default. We go back to the green texture and rename it to default, D-F-A-U-L-T, default. Eyes, high body, and default. And delete the high-res model. Re-export this file, export OBJ, and then we'll call this one please work underscore with underscore eyes. Let's minimize that and let's see if we can replace that. Looking for the please work file. Drag it in, hit OK. Yay, we got our textures back and we have eyes because we kept the same UV name. Don't forget to save your work after done. Oh, you got it. I will save. Oops, I didn't mean to move that. I will save it right now, Pug. We minimize that, go into Cinema 4D, and then we'll save that file. I want to save it with the high-res model. There we go. File save, minimize Cinema 4D, and then open up Adobe Substance 3D Painter. Cool. Excuse me. All right, so we're back to where we are. So the reason why is I was looking at other Bored Apes, and they have really chill eyes. They're really just this black bead. So I want to just make that real quick for fun. So I'm going to go to the eyes, and I'm going to fill it with black paint. I'm going to grab a nice black paint here. We're going to make that paint extra shiny by reducing the roughness so that it looks very glossy. And then we'll add a black mask on top of there. And then we'll sharpen our brush and just paint the dot. Oh, I'm getting a weird, there we go. Whoa, look at that. So much life. So much life having eyeballs. Let me hide the body. His eyeballs are very alert. I might want to make them, more dynamic now that it works. So we can change the eye color to anything now. And I'm going to add another copy of this. Switch this to black again. And then clear the mask. And then hide the body. And go right on top of the eyeball and make a pupil. Great. And I want the pupil to actually create some depth change in the eyeball. So we're going to go to the height and increase the height value. And now our eyeball has some height to make a nice glassy interior. And let's bring back the body. Pretty sweet. You can now super customize the eyes. So I'm going to make it kind of like a dark brown for now. And yeah, so I mean, it can really be anything at this point now that it's working. I'm going to add another color and bring in a light color, a light blue, and then I'm going to add a blur to this. So we'll do group with Alt G. I'm going to add a black mask, and now we can literally fade on the eyeballs with a gradient, which I think will look pretty cool here. I don't like those eyes per se, so let me just keep experimenting until I find something that I'm happy with. Switch this to less creepy colors. Maybe less creepy is just making it less saturated in the color reveal. So I'm just adding a little bit more of a muted color to both. Just getting this little green eyes. Nice. Nice. Ooh. All right. Can't wait to be able to wear this. The topology is so good. Was it ran on quad remesher or just Zbrush remesh? I decided to just do Zbrush remesh. I didn't bring it into VR like I was thinking I was going to do it. I decided just to go with Z remesher, the lazy way. Creations by Demand on Instagram says, amazing work as always. This whole project, your last post about full body AR models is blowing me away. Thank you so much. I'm actually running it right now on the background. This is Lens Studio over here, and I'll show you. I'm actually running it right now. I can get off the chair. This is full body AR replacement using AI to remove my body from the shot, and I can walk around. I can walk around the room in here, and that's real time. So right now, this is just the geometry version of it. And right now what we're doing over here is we're painting it. We're painting this model. We did our UVs. And then, yeah, we can, once we do that, I'll bring that character into here and see if we can get it looking like that one, but have it look like this on this version. Because right now this is just plain geometry. And also I couldn't get finger tracking to work on this. So have some areas I'm just going to continue to work on. But the stuff is pretty wild that it's even possible at all. Thank you so much. All right, so I don't know which Bored Ape to do, but I was basically starting off by just creating like generic things. So, for example, I really like this kind of mustache on this one. Maybe I'll make my own Bored Ape, you know? I mean, this already is making my own Bored Ape, but like maybe I'll make my own design because right now it's very neutral, it's like a naked Bored Ape. Naked apes. I'm going to save this into my Bored Apes and call this base_ape. All right, so let's get some fur onto this thing. Oh, hello, Ibrahim, Buna, welcome. Welcome. All right, let's go back to the default, and that's the eye, that's the skin, and that's the body there. All right, so some fur. I actually have some fur shaders that we can start from. Not wood grain. There's a fur, yeah, here's a fur randomness, which is kind of cool. There's also, if I turn off filter, wait, there's fur. I don't see any of the furs. Weird, I thought I had fur. All right, maybe it's called hair. Oh, I had it on my old substance painter. Silly me. I don't have it on the new version here yet. Might have to get those. So if you ever are looking for materials to start off from, there's a website called Substance Share, which is now, oh, it took it off. Adobe, why'd you take off Substance Share? All right, this is another spot. Substance SBAR files. There's another one called, okay, I guess they're calling it share.substance. All right, so they still have it, thank goodness. So this is a great website, it's a great resource. I talk about it at my Adobe Max conference. So you're getting a little sneak peek at something I talk about in the session. This is a great resource, substance3d.adobe.com. If you have an Adobe license, you can start off from all of these amazing materials. And these are all procedural. You can start from this and then build off of it. Or if you're lazy, you can just use this in a rush. But I recommend that if you're trying to understand how to build shaders from scratch, this is a fantastic place because you can download these materials and see exactly how they're all broken down, literally turning your imagination into reality, or in my case, augmented reality. They got so much stuff in here. I mean, I'm just scrolling through it, and you're probably seeing just thousands and thousands of shaders, and I'm hoping that it gets your mind boggling with ideas of how you can use these things. There's just so many. And what I'm going to show you is fur. So I'm just going to look for FUR. Look at that. Oh my God, they have a leopard one. Fantastic. I'm going to download that one. Leopard fur by Beatrice Ray. We have a zebra. We have fur material. I'm going to download that one. What's fabric fur synthesized? That's cool. And they have zebra fur. I'll download that one as well. The file format that you're downloading is called an SBSAR file. Stands for substance something. I don't know what the SAR is. Substance shader, maybe? SBSAR. And when you have them, just drag it into Adobe Substance. And then it's going to ask you, what is this? And you just tell it that this is a base material, and I want to have this be part of my library. And you hit import, and then now you have that material. And materials work in a drag and drop basis. So I can drag this right onto my model. And poof, I now have the shader on here. Now you probably are seeing some issues with the seams. This is why you want to do better than me when it comes to hiding your seams. That's why we're seeing these lines right in there. If you're bad with this, there's a secret trick called triplanar projection. This projects onto your model in 3 dimensions and ignores your UV coordinates entirely. Now the next question becomes, how do we get this cheetah texture to look more like, where's my cheetah? Look at this, cheetah ape. So to get this to look more like a cheetah, we would need to grab that material and just scale it down. Boom. Boom. Easy peasy. Easy peasy. Now we can go to add a black mask, and now we just paint in where it needs to have the fur. And I have it on, what do you call it? Oh yeah, and also you don't have to paint with a boring soft brush like this. You can paint with any brush. So I'm going to grab a different brush. By going to the brush section, and then I'm going to paint with hair. HAIR. Let's use hairlines, or that looks good. Kyle's concept brushes. Whoa. No, too weak. What about this one? Oh, that's good. This one's called artistic hair. So I can literally start painting right onto my model, and I'm applying this cheetah texture everywhere. You go around the back of the ears here, back of the head, and yeah, just painting along, having some fun in the process. How freaking cool is this? This is what Substance is all about. You can also, if you're looking for a business opportunity, you can make shaders and sell them. Yeah, you know, if you make a really cool shader that you spend a lot of time on, you can sell it, and people like myself will buy it because if I need it. But it is a little hard to compete with how many shaders are available now inside of you know, the libraries. But you know, let's say you make some really awesome materials that people like can't live without, then you got yourself a little business. Let's see, how far down does it go? I don't know. Oh, it looks like it goes down the side of the head too. That's amazing, man. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, no problem. That's what it's all about. Sharing resources and making the XR space accessible and very fun. Look at that. Wow. Now, what's also really cool is these materials that I'm using right now are highly customizable. Usually, they should be. They're all pretty customizable, but some of them aren't. But I think these ones should be pretty customizable. So if I wanted to make this um, like change something about it, for example, the bump map, I can go to my leopard print here and see what attributes they allow me to edit. Looks like they've locked all their attributes, no problem. There's also some UV offsets, so I can change the offsetting of certain material in the X and Y axis. If I'm looking for a very specific print to form a good angle, so I can move the shader here, move it left and right to find a nice little looping pattern. And then, yeah, go to the front here as well and do the same thing. So this technique is called triplanar projection. It projects your texture on the X, Y, and Z axis and gives you the ability to blend between them. Freaking love triplanar projection because when you do terrible UV maps, you're forgiven with triplanar projection. Oh, we got a question from Dan Graham. Says, is this Quixel or can you mention the site again? This is Adobe Substance 3D Painter, and the site that I just got this material from was called substance3d.adobe.com. It used to be called Substance Source, but then Adobe bought them and was like, no, we're calling it something else. But yeah, that's how you would get your, this thing in here. Will these be NFTs to buy? I think so. I don't know if I'm going to get in trouble for that, but we'll see. I need to kind of ask the community how to go about this because I'm thinking of making a whole set of these things where you buy the ability to have these as skins that you can wear in video calls. The tool that I'm using down here is Snap Camera. That's what you're seeing this projection from. So Snap Camera allows you to run Instagram or run Snapchat AR filters in any video conferencing calls. So if you're on Zoom calls all the time, or if you're on FaceTime all the time, or if you're in Google Hangouts or Microsoft Team View, all those video sharing applications can support this. You just basically tell those applications that that Snap Camera is your default camera, and then you can basically drive these characters right from your laptop, anything that can run a Snapchat. And what's cool is you don't even have to sign in to Snapchat. So if you don't use Snapchat a lot or at all, you're forgiven because it's not a requirement. You can just download the Snap Camera and then you can run these AR effects natively, and it's freaking cool. And I'm gonna start selling these so that so I have every interest in having more people download it because I want to be like, oh, you can wear this. You can wear this thing that you bought, this NFT. All right, let's make the upper eyelids a little bit darker because I'm looking at this Bored Ape and the shade of the eye is a bit darker in here. So let's get that going. Easiest way to do it, make a new fill layer. I'm gonna fill it with that exact shade and then add a black mask and then just paint it in. Simple. It's actually looking like it's a little too light on this side, so I might darken it a bit. So we'll go to our base color and just drop the shadow value a bit so it's a little bit darker shade for the eyelid. You can also play with that roughness. So the light scatters a bit differently on the eyelids. This will be important since I am going to rig this so that when you blink in real life, this character will blink. This is a lot of effort, so I will be charging for this as a service. But if you're not feeling like buying anything from me, you can just follow everything I'm showing you here and do this yourself. But I know for a fact that it might be I might be making it look a little simple. We got some questions from Dan Graham. Says, thank you so much. This is so valuable. Yay, happy to hear that. It would be amazing if you could share this video on your Twitter account and say, hey, I learned a lot of really valuable things from tuning in to this on his Twitter. That would be sweet. Very helpful for me. Since the reason why is I'm trying to get the attention of Bored Ape owners, and they spend most of their time on Twitter and not much time on Instagram. And yeah, it would help. I'm debating where to put the fur because I can't really tell. You know, after the upper body, now it's just we're in imagination land, so we can go anywhere. Would there be fur on the butt? Real talk. Would a bored ape have fur on the butt? Or would it just be on the upper, or would it just be along all the back? I don't know. Actually, that looks kind of cool, having on the legs. Let's do that. Cheetah print, cheetah print. There's another reason why I love using Adobe Substance 3D Painter like we are today, is everything is procedural. So all of this work that we're doing, painting in this cheetah print, is all recyclable, meaning I can swap this cheetah print out with anything now. And all of that masking is preserved. Substance Painter is a non-destructive editing tool set. So that means you're not wasting your time when you're designing stuff in here. In fact, you're saving time for your client, for yourself, for your mental health and sanity. Everything's being saved. So it's important to do that. Should we put fur on the arms? I guess it looks kind of naked without it, huh? Or maybe we just put fur on like the lower arms, like they're wearing like some fur cuffs or something. I don't know. Is this how a bored ape cheetah print would go? No idea. Definitely on the back of the hand, feeling some like overgrowth, you know, kind of fur going on here with the cheetah print. Cool, and we have mirroring turned on, so we're saving time with that as well. But what I'm talking about is like all this work that we're spending on this cheetah print. Let's say we get an edit, you know, down the line that says, you know what, I wish this was the same pattern but not cheetah print. Well, we can just copy this mask, boom, with the copy mask button right there, and I can hide the cheetah print. Now it looks super naked without it. And then I'll show you an example. We can just fill this with another shader. I can grab, for example, let me turn off hair. Let's say we wanted to fill this with aluminum. And then I add a black mask. And then I just fill the aluminum mask with the mask that we painted for the cheetah print with paste into mask. And now we have a cheetah in silver, which is what I'm going to be doing when I make this one. You know, I'm going to use the same masking technique for the metal, and then you can go in and dial in all the parameters of that metal. So this is a big deal. This is a non-destructive tool for creation, and that matters in the future where we're going to be spending more time with digital assets across different metaverses. You're gonna need to have the ability to make stuff quickly and iterate on those designs and output more stuff. So it's the future. I'm here. I'm trying to future-proof you. Let's turn back on the cheetah printer. Okay. I saw some little patches where we were missing, so I'm just going to do a kind of big brush strokes here. I don't know what to do about the feet. I didn't want to model toes, so that's what you get when you don't want to model toes. You just get this lump. Get this one giant toe. Yeah, again, my goal here is just to get the attention of the right folks. The ones that need to see this are the ones that I would like to do business with. And as long as I keep making money doing this stuff with clients and personal projects, I can justify teaching for free. Because I don't need to monetize the educational content. I'd much rather keep that free forever. I'm trying to rebuild the school from Ready Player One. That's one of my long-term goals and dreams. And I loved in the book Ready Player One, everyone had access to free, reliable education that worked in VR. I would love for my education system to be useful in that it applies to what people actually want to do, translates to real work and real like passion and value. Is kind of what I'm imagining would be pretty sweet. And I don't think the one size fits all is going to be the motto, but rather, you know, a unique learning experience for everybody based off of them is probably more preferred. we'll go into more detail about that in the future. But for now, just doing that. Let's go to parameters. Okay, cool. Leopard print. All right, let's jump out of there. Okay. Oh, we got some questions from Buna. Says you could make multiple outfits and swapping them real time in the lens. That is true. However, that is true. However, I'm going to be cranking up the texture size quite a bit on these assets to make it look really special. So I'm not going to, well, unless it makes sense for the client, I'm going to make it so that you kind of have to, these will all be separate filters so that I can kind of make the asset heavier. You know what I mean? Like heavier in a way. What to do next? What you know about rolling? Where? Yeah, and then I have to still model props and stuff, but for now I just wanted to like make a cool little cheetah. I liked the cheetah one, and we already got it pretty much. But I'm not done. The noses. Let me see an actual chimpanzee for a second. Chimpanzee images, portrait, close-up. Testing. All right, sorry about that. Thank you for letting me know that the audio died for a moment. Not sure what that was about, but I guess it's back on. So sorry about that. Thanks for catching it. Great. Okay. So is audio back on YouTube for those that are tuning in there? Please let me know if the audio is on. Wow, thank you so much. Yes, Tigo. Now it's back. Okay, great. So yeah, we can swap out the environment. So I'm going to swap out this. My friend Patrick 4D made a lot of really nice HDRI maps that I like to use, and they're great for lighting your scenes in, you know, like in AR and for 3D. And so I like to just kind of throw on different light spheres just to see how different light situations would impact the model. Let's go to a villa. Oh, that's cool. It's pretty. Let's place them over there. Okay, sorry, I'm just having fun, which is a core philosophy of how I work. If I'm in a spot where I'm not having fun, I'm doing something wrong. So I'm always going to be having fun as much as I can. I don't know if I'm liking the belly. I don't know what to do with the belly. What does the belly of a cheetah even look like? Is it still cheetah print? Cheetah print on a cheetah thing. Oh, cheetah's bellies are just one fur color, it looks like. It's not spotted. Or am I tripping? What does a cheetah's belly look like? Question mark. Thank you. I love Google. Oh. Okay, so it's not actually spotted on the stomach. It's like a different fur material altogether. Good to know. Let's add that to my references. Ah, okay. So it's still fur, but it's just not. Let me switch the environment again. Switch the environment again. Switch the environment again. Oh, I like this spot. Okay. Let's blur out that area though, so that it's not distracting. And I'm going to turn on shadows. Bam. Shadows are intense. Let's turn down the shadow strength. There we go. Okay. Sweet. What was I doing? Oh yeah, belly. Work on the belly. So I'm going to grab the stylized hair. We downloaded a few other substance materials from the interwebs. So I'm going to drag those in now. We're going to go to the downloads folder on the other screen. Bring in the zebra texture. Or actually, I'll just do regular fur. Grab the fur texture and bring that into substance. We'll bring this in as a base material, set it to our base library and import that. And then I'll drag that onto the whole body. Oh wow, it looks like it's a stylized fur. Again, you're seeing the same problem where the seams are getting in the way. We see where the seams were from the UV maps. When that happens, the trick that I recommend always is change your projection type. We have triplanar, which pretty much solves the problem. We have planar projection, which will only work in one dimension, one plane. We have spherical projection, which tries to project onto a sphere. We have UV projection, which is what we had before. I'm going to go to triplanar again, bring up our triplanar editor, and we can move these around. We can also scale these uniformly. Whoa, too small. Looks like Chewbacca fur. And then I might need to rotate this. I think it's a little bit too much going on there. Let me see if I drag it underneath the skin. Oh, no. Bad call. Bad call. Yeah, I don't like that at all. Bad decision. So what we can do too is just remove certain parameters like color maybe, and height, and roughness, and metallic, normal map. What are we keeping actually? Almost nothing. Where's color? Okay, so that's color. Yuck. No. Oh, actually, how about this? How about this? Let's add a black mask, and then I'll just do this on the belly a little bit. And maybe a little bit on the arms, possibly. And then we'll change the color. So we can grab it and add a filter. No, not a filter, wrong one. We can add a, wait, is it a filter? I guess it is a filter. We can add a levels, play with the, all those different parameters. I might just lighten it a little bit. Adjust some of our shadows. We can clamp it, that's based off of base color. And then we can even just drop the opacity or change the blend mode. So I'm changing the blend mode right now to try to get it to blend in a little bit better. I kind of like soft light, and then we'll maybe soften it even more by lowering the opacity. It's just a very subtle kind of thing. I just add a little bit of height to it, but I'm already regretting adding height because it just looks weird. Maybe we'll leave the belly alone. I don't know what I'm doing about the belly. There's audio for me, on YouTube. Oh yeah, gotta have fun. It's a good idea to make a Patreon account so users can donate for extra resources such as files and materials. That is a great idea, except I'd rather give away my knowledge and stuff for free, for the most part, as long as I can keep paying the bills. So the times that I'm not streaming, I'm usually doing client work or personal projects. So I'm not really trying to do a whole Patreon, in other words. My attempt at that was trying to do that Discord channel, Future Proofs Discord that we started. We have like 300 members, which is great, but then it just became a bit hard for me to manage by myself. And I know I have help if I asked for help, but I was kind of taken away from the artwork that I wanted to do and stuff. So I don't really know if I want the commitment of Patreon. I mean, what do you call it? I resigned DreamWorks so that I could have freedom to do whatever I wanted whenever I wanted. And so if I get a Patreon account, for me that's kind of like creating a regular job. And I don't want a regular job. I want whatever job I want. It's my selfish way of thinking about it. All right, where are we at? We got a Bored Ape. Let's get this texture out of here. Get this thing rigged. Brought back to life. Cool. I want to see if I can bring this character into Lens Studio. So I'm just going to save this real quick, and we're going to bring this in here so that I can remove my gray self and swap it with this self. I'm going to go to File, Export Textures. I'm going to export them for Lens Studio. They actually have that as an option, which is great. And I'm going to save these into the Bored Apes folder, make a new folder for it called Materials. And we'll save it there. Select folder. The default is a base material, a normal map, and then a shader that holds all that data in threes. It's ORM, opacity, roughness, metallic. We're doing it for the default. We're doing it also for the eyes. Everything is set to 2048 by 2048, so these are pretty large. That is fine by me for now, and we'll hit export. Let's take a look at the textures. Look at that. Look at these 6 textures. We got our Bored Ape skin material. Looks all weird. That's what a texture tile looks like. We have our ORM. ORM stands for opacity, roughness, metallic. ORM, and you can trick. This is a file memory saving technique. You can bake 3 different texture maps into one texture by using RGB as the compression algorithm. So they'll encode the opacity to red, they'll encode the roughness to blue, they'll encode the metallicness to green, and then you can essentially get 3 textures out of one texture because of RGB values. Big hack there. Then this crazy thing here is called a normal map. This is where we get the bumps. This is what's going to make the fur look like fur. Here's the eye in the color. Here's the eye normal map. I'm going to delete that because that's just a lot of data that I don't need. And I'm just going to delete the normal map again. It's a gigantic 2048 image that I just don't need at all. It's just a waste of space. Cool. So we did that. So let's minimize this and let's go back into Lens Studio. Oh no, take it back. We gotta go into Cinema 4D. And we're back in Cinema 4D. What I'm gonna do is swap out these textures. So I'm gonna set this to 100% white so that we get all of the color data out of here. And I'll do the same for the eyes, set that to 100% white. And then we're gonna replace this model. Wait, is that the best way to do this? Kind of. It's one way of doing it. I'll just do, yeah, we'll just do one. I'm just gonna use the color data for this export for now. And then we'll use it to the auto rigging. So I'm gonna grab my please work material, and hit yes. And then we'll set the viewport to not reduce it. So now that's in Cinema 4D, great. And that's painted, great. And then let's go to my eye texture. I'll do the same exact thing. Jump in there, grab my color parameter, set the color to that texture of the eyeball, hit open, say yes, great. And then I want to, yeah, so now we have our eyeballs and we have our body in there. And then I'm gonna export this as an FBX file. First, let me delete my high-res model that we baked onto there. We don't need it anymore. And we have it saved separately. And then, do we need our eyeballs? Oh yeah, we do. Okay, we have our eyeballs. We have this all as one object. Great. I'm gonna get rid of that high texture. So we have eyes and we have our body. Actually, we should rename that to default. DFAULT. Cool. All right, and then I'm gonna go to File, Save Project. Next, we're gonna go to File, export this thing as an FBX. Bada bing. And if you set it to 2014, it gives you a secret hack for later. We're gonna go to Mixamo, get this auto rigged in a T-pose. So I'll say ready to underscore rig, save it. Awesome, let's open up Mixamo. This is one I had earlier. I'm gonna re-import this. Mixamo is another one of those resources, highly recommend. Been using it since 2015. It's a great way to get a quick rig out. I still do manual rigging when I need a really custom animation, but for humanoid things, this is a great solution. So I'm gonna go to upload a character. We're gonna drag our Bored Ape in here, if I can find it. Already lost it, where is it? Bored Ape, looking for ready to rig, there it is, FBX, let's drag that in. Take a couple minutes to think about it, because it's got textures in there, it's got our model in there, but we kept it light. I only gave it 2 textures. And it should load up here, fingers crossed that it works. I don't have finger tracking on right now in the live view that you're seeing in the right hand corner. We will be able to do that in a bit. It's a little weird to set up. All right, so it's processing our character. Let's see what it did. There's our Bored Ape. Looks like it didn't bring in the textures, but that's okay. I just need this for, oh, it did bring the textures. Yay, woohoo. And then we're gonna hit next. And what you get to do inside of this wonderful program is you just place the bones, you just place these markers on the bones. So where's your chin? There's my chin. And where's your wrist? There is my wrist. Where are the elbows? There are my elbows. Where are the knees? There are my knees. And where's the groin? There's the groin. Boof. And then I'm gonna use symmetry so it's easier. Should we do 65 bones in the hands? Let's see, I forgot what the difference is. So this would give 2 fingers, 2 finger control. We want 5 fingers. So I'll do 5 fingers and then we'll hit next. Now it's going through a bunch of AI tools that are essentially studying your model, applying bones to them, doing automatic weight painting and auto rigging for the whole body, all 65 bones in this case. There's a lot more bones than that in real life, but for rigging purposes, that's enough. And we're rigging it. Have you remeshed the mesh? Yes, this is the remeshed mesh. Kind of a miss, you kind of miss Fuse. I know, Fuse was fun, but there's so many alternatives now. You can use Character Creator 3, which is kind of like Fuse. There's also MetaHumans. There's also ReadyPlayer.me. There's a lot of other alternatives for making characters that are kind of like video game-esque in terms of build. All right, it's taking a second to load. Looks like I see our character. They came out really tiny. I see them. Or maybe we're just really far away. Let me just zoom in. No, it's just really tiny. I don't know why it came out so tiny, but it's alive. Yay. We'll hit next. Our character is alive. And it's just super, super tiny. This might cause problems later. Wait, that's not it. Oh, it's still loading. Okay, so I'm gonna click on the T-pose, and that's all I really want is I want the T-pose out. That's all I care about. So I'm gonna hit download. If you don't want just a T-pose and you want full-on animation, this has a whole animation library, and you just click on stuff, and your character will start coming to life. How cool is that? Ignore the frame rate dropping right now. It's just because I'm running too many computations at once. It's normally faster in here, but I just had too much stuff running. But you can, bring your character to life at this point. How freaking cool is that? Maybe I'll just do a walking animation just so I have that for later to walk. And we'll just do a regular walking. No, I'm not doing animation here. Because we're gonna make it so the user drives the animations. I don't need that. Cool. So we have our FBX in a T-pose. We can close a bunch of stuff now, and let's go back into our final program, Lens Studio. Ta-da, ta-da-ta-da. It took me a while to set up this project. I don't remember how I set up the AI replacement material. I followed a tutorial by Kevin on their Instagram, no, on their YouTube channel. But there is ways to remove your character in AI. I just learned it like today, so I don't have it memorized. So you'll have to follow another resource for how to do that part. But I'll show you the other part. So let's get our character into here. So what we need to do is, so this character is done. We don't need that one anymore. What I'm going to do is go ahead and import our model, our ready to rig model, our T-pose, and I just drag the T-pose. Oops, we got to replace it. Replace the file destination. No, don't do that. Let me make a new folder here. Save the T-pose into this one. Cool. I'm going to drag this into Lens Studio and import our T-pose. And then what we need to do is make our T-pose a child. Oh, well, I'm seeing some glitches. Oh, I see me again. Interesting. It's really interesting how this AI material works. I'm still learning it. And now we'll take our material and we're going to make the prefab a child of the 3D body tracker. So that's going to bring our rigged character into here. And it's going to get really weird for a moment. All right, so that we have our rigged character in here. And now what we do is we grab our 3D body tracking asset and click on Match Hierarchy, and we grab our new T-pose 2 and hit OK. Oops, wrong one. Try it again. Match Hierarchy. Let me grab T-pose 2, number 1. There we go. So now this is the model that has the new texture information. So I'm going to temporarily hide the other model, and then we need to get rid of this pink stuff. Wait, is this the right model? I actually can't tell if this is the right model. Where is the downloads? Oh, it's not the right one. That's the old one. My bad. We re-imported the same model. I was wondering why there's no textures on this. Let me try that again. Let's drag T-pose 3, import it in. And then we'll make that prefab a child of the 3D object tracker. Cool, there we go. So that's the one that has the paint on it. Already this is pretty sweet. We have like 2 models that I'm running in real time. We got some questions. Hello, what software is that for Windows? This is Lens Studio that we're in right now. And now we're going to collapse the first one. So now we're just left with the new one, but it's not parented yet. But it does have all the bones. You can see all the bones in its system by toggling down the prefab, and you see all the bones that Mixamo made for us. But you see that it's tracking my world position. but it's not tracking anything else, right? So I want it to be able to track everything. Because right now it's only tracking like a T-pose. So what we do is we go to our 3D body tracker node, we click on match hierarchy, and we choose our new rig, and we hit OK, and then you're done. Nope, I screwed up something. Let's try it again. I'm gonna grab my 3D tracking thing, go to match hierarchy, hit OK. Huh, don't know why it's not showing up. Let me delete this one maybe. And I'll delete this one as well. Weird, the head's working all right. Let's try this again. Grab the 3D body tracker and then go to match hierarchy and grab T-pose 3, hit OK. Weird, it's not tracking the arms. But it is tracking the head, but just not the arms. I don't know why it's not doing that. Select hip. Oh, he said select the hip, gotcha. Select hip, okay, so let me grab the hip. Select hip, select hip. Oh, Mixamo hips. Oh, because it has all the old hips in here. Can I just undo all the, oh, bad, is that a bad idea? I'm gonna hit X on all these to see what happens. This might be dumb. Dum 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 dum. Okay, so everything's broken now. Let's try this one more time. Match hierarchy, grab the T-pose, grab the hips, hit OK. There we go. Nope. What's going on? What am I doing wrong here? He said select hip. He said no, don't do that. Okay. Select hip. What? Selecting hip. All right, I got the hip selected. And then what? I'm losing my... This worked earlier. Before I just dragged and dropped and it worked really nicely. Huh. At least the head's working okay. How do I get this, what is this null object doing? Oh, these are the eyes. I mean, that's the full rig in there. I might just try my luck again with the from scratch, because I don't know what's going on here. So I might just have to restart the Lens Studio file from scratch. I'll keep trying for now, but I don't know why this wouldn't be working at this point. So that's our body mesh. That one works, but then why does this one work? Okay, T-pose 3 is turned on. What if I turn off the camera and the null? Okay, so you need the null object because that holds the geometry. Okay, so then I'm gonna go to my body tracker. I'm gonna turn off track position for a second. Turn it back on. Turn it off. Turn it back on. Okay, so that works there. And then position index 1. No, index 0, match hierarchy, T-pose 3, hit OK, nothing. Match hierarchy, go to the hips, toggle the hips, maybe grab everything after the hips, like the spine. Whoa, nope, that didn't do it. All right, how about T-pose, hips, spine, legs? What if we just did the legs? Whoa. I think I broke the Bored Apes leg. It looks like a really bad compound fracture. Not the intention I was going for here. I don't know what's going on with the arm. Left shoulder, left arm, everything. I mean, that all looks correct. So how about this? I'm gonna make a new project file. New project. I'm gonna discard, oh wait, did I save it already? I'll just discard it, it's fine, it's good practice. You said the file should only have armature and a mesh. Ew, gotcha. Okay. Maybe I didn't need to restart then, but if I was going to restart, we go up to this plus button, and I look for a couple of things. First one is the full body tracking, and then we would import our thing if it works. I'm going to try it again, bring that FBX file as a child of the 3D body tracker, and then I'm going to turn off some data. Can I turn off cameras? Nope, I don't see that as an option, so we'll just import that. Hello, welcome. File should only have armature and mesh. Okay, so we got our mesh in here, our Bored Ape, and then it's tracking position, that's good. Then we would go to T-pose. No, we go to our 3D body tracker, click on match hierarchy, and grab our T-pose and hit OK. Alright, so it looks like the spine is kind of working. It's kind of working. Alright, I hear you out, Bruno. What you're saying is the problem is the camera data stuff. So let's go back into Cinema 4D and see if we can eliminate that extra data that's causing a hiccup. So I'm going to drag this into Cinema 4D, and I'm going to get rid of stuff that we don't really need. So in this case, this camera we don't need, and we don't need our, I guess I'll bring in the eyeballs separately, I guess. He said the naming convention is not right. Oh, naming conventions. Oh, that's so true. Yeah, the naming's all weird. What are the recommended names? Oh, they have the names here that they want to see. So we need to give it those exact names. Although I don't actually, it looks like it's trying its best to match. I mean, this is pretty close to the correct spine. The correct spine control. But the arms, I really don't understand why the arms aren't tracking anything at all. So let me go all the way down to the left arm, which is under left shoulder, and that's left arm. So I'll hit OK. Nothing. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what went wrong there. Should be hip, spine, spine 1. That's what it says. Hip, spine, spine 1. Hip, spine. Oh! I see what you mean. Wait, no I don't. Dang it, how did I rig the first one? Let me study the difference in hierarchy between the one that does work and the one that doesn't. So I'm going to import my old one that doesn't have the texture information. So it's the uglier one, but it was working with the body tracking, which is paramount. You know, this is more important. Alright, so we'll bring in T-pose number 2, which was working but doesn't have textures. And then we'll grab that, bring it into the 3D body tracker, and then go to 3D body tracker and get to match hierarchy, grab number 2 and hit OK. Yeah, so this one works perfectly. Why? I did the same rigging technique here. Ah, but I see the difference. So this one, when we open up the hip control, it goes into a really clean hierarchy. When we did it for this one, it broke it into all these null objects. I don't think it likes these little nulls. So let's see if we can fix some of that. I don't know why it did it that way though. Yeah, I agree. You're saying try to re-download it. Good call. Yeah, because I think this is a technical bug. we're doing everything actually correctly, but the file itself is broken, which I can't fix without re-downloading it. So let's go back to Mixamo and look for our T-pose again. Grab a T-pose. I'm going to leave all that as is and click on download. We have FBX binary with skin. Yep. Keyframe reduction doesn't matter because we're not animating anything. And hit download. Yeah, the first one was also rated in Mixamo with the T-pose. So that's why I'm a little / very confused, because it is I had the same pipeline. The only thing I changed was adding textures to it. The other thing I changed is this is a different version of FBX. I did 2014 for this current one. Maybe we should have kept it as 2016, which might be the issue as well. So let me go ahead and re-import the new version, number 4. And then let's drag that T-pose prefab underneath our 3D camera tracker, 3D body tracker, sorry. And then we'll grab, 3D body tracker, go to the match hierarchy, grab T-pose 4. Yeah, so then it's back to the same problem. I think it's related to using an older version of FBX. That was a bad call. So we actually need to go back a step, 2 steps back. We need to go back to Cinema 4D before we exported it out of here. So back when it was just this guy, and he was chilling. I guess the other difference too is the eyes. I didn't have it on a separate layer like I did here. So maybe that's causing problems. I don't know. So I'm gonna get rid of the eyes for now. We'll just have to add the eyes back in later. So this is now just a body, nothing else, no confusion. And we're gonna go to File, export this thing. Yeah, I'm just gonna export just the body this time and call this Buna test. Okay, and then we'll bring this into Mixamo. Oh, you said don't include fingers? I think it's because of the fingers. Okay, gotcha. You said eyes are not the issue. All right, we'll keep the eyes then, because I would like to keep them. I did paint them. All right, so we'll keep that. So you're saying, yes, absolutely. I think it's because of the fingers. Don't include fingers. The eyes are not the issue. Okay, you got it. So let's try this again. We're going to go to File, Export. And we're going to call this Buna test. Buna test _1. Awesome. And we'll go into here and we'll go to Upload a Character. I'm going to bring in Buna test number 1. Where is it? Buna test number 1 object. Bring that into the scene. Take a second to upload that data. Drink some water. We'll mark the chin. Mark the wrists. Rigging doesn't get much easier than that, unless you just don't rig at all. And then you said no fingers, so let's click no fingers with 25 bones. That'll be a lot lighter anyway. We'll click on next. Exporting that data. Creations by demand says it might be the eyes. We'll see, because I have kept models separate like that and have brought them into the auto rigging tool with Mixamo before, but what I hadn't done, yeah, I mean, well, I don't know. We'll have to we'll have to see. It's the eyes. Mixamo hates when it's not one mesh. Oh, it does. Dang. I think it might be the eyes too. We'll see. Alright, so we're in here. Great. The model's working nicely. We'll hit next. I'm going to grab my T-pose. Oh, it might be the scale. Now it's the proper scale again. That's a good sign. And yep. And I'm going to go ahead and hit download. Download download again. This is now T-pose number 5. And I'm going to close this and reopen it, or just make a new file. So go to new project, discard this one. I want a clean layout. Hello, welcome back. We want a clean layout, so we'll go to plus, add a new 3D body tracking, full body tracker. We're going to import our latest T-pose. If I can find it under downloads, bring that into T-pose number 5 it is. There it is. We're going to bring this as the child of the 3D body tracker. We'll import that data. Okay. Looks good so far. We'll have to re-import textures, but I'm not worried about that. Now we'll grab our 3D body tracker, go to match hierarchy, grab our T-pose 5, hit OK. Yay! Yay, it works. Cool. All right, so it was related to the fingers, it looks like. And now we just have the fun part of remaking the textures, or we have to build a shader for the textures here. So we'll do that now. We'll click on, yay, thank you so much, Buna, you rock, your test worked. So yeah, we got our model in here now, and now let's make some materials. So I'm going to make a new material known as a simple PBR, or I'll just do a regular PBR material. It stands for physically based rendered material. And I'm going to make that the body default. So we'll go to choose material. I'm going to call this one body. So I'm going to rename this, call this skin. Skin of the ape. And then we'll grab the default, set the material to the skin. Great, so now we have our textures in there. Awesome, and now let's go to our skin shader and import all those textures, which will be really fun. Let's get in nice and close. Ignore the eyes that are pink right now. We'll get that fixed in a moment. Thank you, Buna, for real. Yeah, yippee is how I feel too. All right, so let's go to our base texture and we'll go ahead and import from files. And we'll go to our materials. I'll just grab it from the right folder this time. Cool, so now we got our skin in there, amazing. This is so fun already. Yeah, legs work now, so we got the skin. Can I get closer to this? Let me set this to maybe a horizontal, or there we go, so we can go vertical. Okay, great. It looks high with pink eyes. Oh, that does. I'm gonna change that right away then. Let me grab the material, simple PBR, and then this one, we'll rename this, call this eyes. And then we'll set the sphere to eyes texture. And then we'll do the same thing, go to the eyes and import a new base material. This one will be the eye shader, right there. And hit OK, so now we got some eyes in there. Awesome. And yeah, thank you so much for helping me get that fixed. And then great, now I'll go back to the skin and load in a normal map. A normal map is going to give it some cool bumps, make it look really like higher fidelity. So let's bring in that normal map, hit OK. Awesome, so now the hair has a little bit more texture to it. And then we can bring in our metallic sliders. What else do we have? Oh, simple reflections would be great. So I'm going to add some reflections to the skin. Not this pink one. Let's just use a Echo Park specular curve. It's really too shiny, so let's reduce the amount of specular shine. Yikes. Yikes. What are we doing? Let's modulate that reflection. Just going to lower it a lot. Okay, that just gives a slight reactive lighting. Yeah. Cool. All right, and then we have some other parameters. A material parameter for metallic, rim lighting, emissive, detail map, opacity map, texture, triplanars, two-sided material. I'll turn that on. Cool. All right, this is working. Now we just got to replace myself. That's the part I struggled with, so I might struggle with that again. But I think it starts off by first going to the asset library and using the new eraser post effect material and importing that into the scene. Then we create a new segmentation map by hitting the plus sign and going to add a new screen image. Is that what it is? I forgot. I think it's a screen image. That gives us an orthographic camera. We can delete the full frame region. We don't need that. And then within the orthographic camera, we make our eraser material a child of it. And that should replace something. And we put the, I think put the orthographic on top. And then I forgot the rest. How do I get the body on top of this? It's kind of erasing my skin now. But I don't see the body anymore. So it might have to do with render order. Let me set this render order to 1 or 2. What happens if I set this to 2? Oh, there we go. Okay, so now it kind of removes me. Looks like it's only removing my skin though. What's going on there? Let me go to my orthographic camera. Render target is fine. Mask texture is blank. So let me put a mask texture of maybe the segmentation of body. Hit OK. I still see me. I still see my body in there. How do I get rid of it? Orthographic, regular, body segmentation. Looks all correct. Render order is correct now as well. Let me go to that eraser material and see what's going on in there. Body segmentation, what if I invert it? No, we need the other. And then feathering. Interesting. It's almost working. What if I just refresh the camera screen a couple times? I sent you a link on the DMs. Oh, thank you so much, Buna. Coming in with the saves always. Super appreciate that. Let me take a look at the Instagram DMs. Oh, a YouTube video. Oh, perfect. Your YouTube video. Yay.
Learn how you can create a super creepy effect like this using Lens Studio's new in-painting feature. So you might have seen some of the lenses where people are removing their bodies or parts of the bodies from the scene. And that is using something called in-painting. You might think that Snapchat and Lens Studio are doing some crazy machine learning to do that. They actually aren't. So it's really easy and accessible to add to any lens. Now, a big secret to this effect is the asset library. So I am in
skip. I already have it.
I'm just going to call this eraser. And I'm going to change the camera type to orthographic. I'm going to drag this up and put it into there. All right, so once it's in here,
all right, let me follow that step exactly. So I have my orthographic camera. It's set to ortho. Camera type is orthographic. I think that looks all good. And then the eraser material is in there. Okay, what next?
You might not see anything happening. That's because we need to make sure it's on the right layer. So select this prefab here. You want to select layers. Let's stick down on the default layer. And now you can see that our user's head is gone. Now, how can we change this? So we have a few options here. The main one you're going to want is this mask texture. So this is going to dictate what gets erased. Now you can add new segmentation textures down here, or
solved. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Buna. I'm going to save that tutorial. That's super helpful. I'll save it to augmented reality learning. All right, so there we go. Body is removed from the shot now. Let's detach this phone and take a look at the horizontal view. Go full screen for a second. Look at that. There you go. That's freaking awesome. Oh my goodness. Buna, you saved me again with the DM link. All right, there you go, folks. That's how you do it. That's how you do the whole thing from scratch. Now, actually, you don't need a green screen, but it does help because, you know, it's blurring the background together. So if your background has a pretty similar texture across, then a blur doesn't get noticed. But great. So then the next step, because we're not totally done, the next step, because the steps just continue, is getting the face to animate when I talk. That's a whole nother level of complexity. I don't know if I can do it with the character like this or if I have to bring in a separate head model that has the blend shapes. But we can at least do one blend shape and import that in and see if we have any luck. But this is looking great. Yeah, it's not to like do some moves. Yep. Having a blast. Okay. And then the back works all right, I think. Wow, I love the future. If you couldn't tell. Literally saw you starting so many hours ago, went to sleep, wake up to this. Oh wow, thank you so much for sticking with it and seeing it in the daytime and the nighttime. Thank you, Buna, I appreciate you. And Doodles, appreciate you. So yeah, this works. We have a real character working in real time right now. You can imagine doing VTuber work with this, right? Because I could have this feed coming in and we could key out the green screen and then you could have your own character in your video games or any of your content. The next thing that we'll be doing, were you trying to twerk? I don't know, can twerking work in this? That's not twerking. Wow, it's actually pretty fast. I mean, even when I move my arm really quickly, it sticks with it. It's pretty impressive. Yeah, this is wild. Oh wow, it looks so much more real when you interact with a prop. The textures look amazing. Oh, thank you so much. I had a lot of fun with these ones. Wow, this is wild. Cool, well I'm gonna save this immediately. Let me go ahead and file save. And then I'll just save this into the Bored Apes folder. I'll save it with the materials, or no, I'll save it in its own, call this cheetah underscore print underscore ape. Cheetah print ape. Call this cheetah. Save. Cool. I need music, but it is kind of late over here. It's like 1 a.m. What if you had digital props you could use? That would be sweet. I mean, you can do some hand tracking stuff, so maybe I can have like a different control reading hand tracking gestures, and then that could drive props or something. It's interesting where it thinks my hands are though. If I put my hands in front, so right now my hands are on top of my head there. Actually, that's pretty accurate. Wow. It's just it gets inaccurate when it sees the front view, but from a side view, the hand on the back of the head is pretty good. And then do some yoga classes. Oof. Oof. If I could do some jump rope, that's so crazy. What if, and where can we retweet this so the Bored Ape people see this? Well, I'm so happy you asked. It's a great segue. I'm actually live streaming this to YouTube right now. So I'm gonna reshare this link right now to Twitter and say, look what we made right now. Look what we made. And then I'm gonna tag Bored Apes, and then if you could retweet them, that would be super sweet. Bored Ape YC for Yacht Club. So yeah, if you want to maybe go onto my Twitter and then retweet this, I think that would help because then they'll see it. And then if they jump in the live stream, they're like, whoa, that's an ape. You know, that's thought. But yeah, the next challenge is going to be getting the face to animate while the body tracking is working and the AI removal is working. Dance monkey. Let me see. Oh, I'll get flagged. If it's a popular song, it'll get a copyright flag and then they'll end the stream. I hate when that happens. But cool, it works. Wow, yeah, this is wild. I like how the chair just disappears too. Cool. Drink some water. Oh, that's a really weird interaction. Okay, I just got another random idea because I just spilled some water on my face and it made me think of particles. So I want to see if I can have particles emit off of the body while I'm moving. That's where inspiration comes from, just random stuff. Okay, so let's bring that back in. Okay, and then let's say I want to drive some particles. I'm gonna go back to Asset Library, and they have one called Particles Spawn to Mesh. And then I don't know how that will work here, but it's worth a shot. Particles, effects, particles. Spawn particles on mesh. Let me hit import on that and take a look at what we get here. Great. And then I'm going to click on the mesh that I want it to spawn to, add another material, click on spawn particles to mesh, and then I think we just make it a child spawn place in objects panel. Alright, boom. Alright, so that's that character. And then I want to replace that character, so let's turn off Red Panda. Still responding to it. We'll go to Mesh Encoder. We'll change the object to encode it to make it be the thing. The T-pose 5. Whoa! So now I can drive particles with my movement. Wait, what's that? There's like a little tail whipping thing happening though at the top. Don't know what that one is. Spawn value mesh. Let me turn off red panda. Okay. And now go full screen, horizontal. Wow, that's freaking wild. This is insane. Having particles on here too. Hayukin. Alright, I'm gonna look up some Tekken sound effects because I don't think I'll get a copyright flag for that. Tekken sound effects.
Chicken. Great. Oops.
Cool. That works. Thank you so much for retweeting. I really appreciate that. Hopefully they see it, gets into the right eyeballs and attention sockets. Thank you for helping me do that. Okay, well I think that's it for now. Wait, no simulation. What is this? Phone. All right, I'm gonna turn off the particles because I think that's gonna just make stuff kill people's batteries. I don't want to do that, so I'm gonna just turn it off. I was just curious if it was possible, and it appears that it is. Cool. All right, so I guess the next thing to learn is how to do facial blend shape animation on here. Might need to save that for a different day, but let's see, this was T-pose number 5. Let me see if it happens if I bring T-pose number 5 into Cinema 4D real quick. I just want to poke at it. No, that's too much time. I need to do that later. It's late. Let me add some lights. Lights. Where's the light? All of the lights. All of the lights. Do 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 do. All of the lights. All of the lights. All of the lights. All right, and also I need to do shadow casting. So let's grab this model, set it to cast shadows. Putting a blue light above me. And then shadow color, we'll darken it. that's without lights. With lights. With one light. With two lights. Cool. Yeah, I just think the skin's looking a little too metallic. So I might just reduce that. Or increase the roughness on the skin. Or even just delete the simple reflections so it's more matted. We also could do a rim light and make this the Bored Ape color background. You can do like a gold finish. And then set the rim intensity, crank it up a little bit so we get a nice little ambient golden glow on the sides. Maybe reduce the intensity a bit, it's a little strong. Yeah, there we go, so get a nice little golden glow on the edges. And then I might just add a bloom effect. It would look pretty sweet here. Bloom, 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 bloom. Bloom. And then go to bloom, turn that off, turn that off, turn that off. And then set the bloom target, create a copy of our tracked thing. Duplicate, duplicate, already a T-pose. Duplicate T-pose. Where is that duplicate button? I don't see it. Well, I really don't see it. I just see delete. Huh. Okay, I'll just duplicate the... Well, I don't see a duplicate anywhere. What is happening? I'll just do it manually. Control D, I think, would do it. Right, so that makes a copy. And then on the copy, we'll set that to match the hierarchy as well. Whoa, breaking the sim, there we go. Duplicate. All right, so on this duplicate version, we'll set the shader for the default, set it to bloom, and the sphere, we'll set this also to bloom, and then we can animate the bloom shader. There we go, so now bloom is turned on, and then we can play around with the bloom shader itself. So do the blur size, maybe increase it a bit, turn down that brightness, so we get this nice little luminescence. And then we can do a mask contrast. Let's see what the bloom is by itself. So here's just the bloom. Crank up the brightness there, maybe reduce it. Blur it a little bit there so we get these high peaks. Let's turn bloom on. Cool. All right, I'm done. I think. Thank you so much. Yeah, I agree. The future is definitely coming. The fingers look a little strange. I think it had to do with the normal maps that I threw on them. Oh well, I'll leave it for now. Cool. I'm going to make some little videos with this, but I'm going to end the streams now. So thank you all so much for tuning in on YouTube. Oh wait, there's some questions that came in. This kind of taking unanimated T-pose is base for the particles though. I think your real shadow should be enough. That's true. Is this taking data from the LiDAR? This one's not using LiDAR right now, but if I bring this onto a device with LiDAR, it will use it for tracking. So at least for tracking the planes, it's not using LiDAR to drive the animation though. This is only using camera data. So light pixels. Question, no, it's tracking the full body. It's deep learning model. I was wondering because the shadow looks so good. Oh yeah, the shadows are my own shadows. Another question that came in says on the wall, but I think it's the real one, right? I think it's a real shadow. Yeah, this is definitely a real shadow over here. Cool, this is totally working. Have a great night. Thank you all so much for tuning in. We'll work on getting the face to animate tomorrow, but I think this is more than enough for tonight. Cool, I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream. Thank you all for tuning in. Really appreciate it. But we're gonna end it for now. I don't know how many hours we've been working at this today, but we just finished. We got the full-on character rig. Oh, Asher. You guys should definitely follow Asher. We've been collaborating on a lot of fashion. I was going to tell you about this, Asher. I'm using AI right now to remove my body from the video. So this is real time. I'll go widescreen. You can see me moving right here, right? So it's using an AI model that removes and blurs out a person from the footage. It just removes them. So if you wanted to have fashion fit somebody in a way that is not possible, you can literally use this model to remove the person from the shot, but they can still drive the fashion. And in this case, I'm hiding my whole body and still driving a fully rigged character that we just painted. And you can see it's got full, full body tracking and stuff. Let me turn off the Snap UI for a second. There we go. Yeah, I know, it's pretty wild. And also we're getting those shadows for free because those are my real shadows on the wall here. And it really trips you out when you decide to move a prop. So if I were to move a prop in real life right now, while being a CG character, it will confuse the heck out of the viewer because it's like, we don't really see that normally. It's like almost like a theme park attraction. Or just a normal day in the metaverse. Let's see, let me go full screen here. And then I'll just tilt the camera. Yeah, so if I were to move props. I don't know how to do finger tracking with this model though, but it does wrist tracking, so it is rotating my wrist. But the finger tracking's not working yet. I think we'll be able to. This one doesn't have any bones in the fingers, so it's just has bones up till the wrist, so there is no fingers to control. But I'm thinking I might just not use my hands at all and just use the hand mesh that they came with. Then it will track perfectly to someone's fingers. Thank you from India. Oh yeah, no problem. Thanks for stopping by. Greetings from the US. Select no simulation. No simulation. What's this do? No simulation. But yeah, you see how like my physical body is holding the mug, or it's just a sparkling water. Drinking some sparkling water, but you see my real hand holding it here. You can probably see the fingers. But at this distance, it tries to remove it. Cool. But yeah, the tracking rocks, and ouch, I just cut my hand. Ow. Oopsies. Cool. All right, that's all, folks. I'm gonna end the stream. Thanks so much for tuning in. But But yeah, now I'll get this running on here, and then we'll make some videos with it, and then I'll go to sleep. So good night. All right, I ended the stream on YouTube, no, on Instagram, and then, oh wow, the phone that I have right now is on fire. It is very hot. It's a little scary. All right, well, thank you all so much for tuning in on YouTube. I really appreciate it. Do me a solid and share this video with folks on Twitter or on other channels, LinkedIn, Twitter, things that might help with the reach, and maybe TikTok. That might be kind of cool. Thanks again, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.